Good afternoon. It is quite nice out there. Welcome to Dice and Bolts. Today looking at a D20 based system called the 2D20 system from its Modiphius Publishing's, am I saying that right? Modiphius Publishing's in-house system. And they've used it for Star Trek Adventures, Mutant Chronicles, John Carter, the Conan game that they've got. I'm guessing, Infinity, role-playing game based on the miniatures game, and I'm guessing stroke hoping that the Dune RPG is going to use the same system. They've got quite a few cinematic mechanic in it, and this is unique because this is the game system that taught me to like roll low systems. Pretty much every other game system, the higher the roll, the better. This one is roll low. Again, it's another one of those ones where you've got a generic core mechanic, which is then tinkered to effect, to modify, go by the different games that you're using it in. And generally speaking, the way that it works is that you have a target number, which is built up of stat and skill. Fairly straightforward. We've seen this before. Stats tend to be a little bit smaller, skills tend to be a little bit larger. I've played mostly the Star Trek game. Stats tend to go from 1 to 4, and skills tend to go from 5 to 7. You take 2d20, hence the name 2d20 system, but you may roll more. And you're going to need to get a number of successes, and a success is anything that rolls less than that combined stat plus skill. So that's where you've got that there. And like I say, all the systems customize it, but you get what's called in Star Trek, you get foci, and with the focus, it means that if you roll under your skill on one of the dice, under your stat in one of the dice, then you get 2 successes. If you get a 1, you'll also get 2 successes, and there's other ways to get extra successes. So sometimes you might need like 3 or 4 successes, and you've only got like a 10 or less. The games all feature a threat and momentum economy to them. So if you get more successes than you need, you can bank them as momentum points that anybody in the party can spend later. You can also, and then you can spend those when you make a dice roll to add extra dice to your pool. So it could be that you start off and you're making a test, and you've got 2 dice, but you need 2 successes. So I think, well, hang on, this is quite important. I've got a stat plus skill of 13. So I'll buy 1 extra dice by spending a point of momentum from the team pool, and the team can have maximum of 6 momentum at any time, but anybody chips into it. So I'll also give the GM an extra threat point and buy another dice. Take them, roll them, and if we need 13s, there's a really bad roll. We have 1 success. We have a 19 and we have a 20. Now a 20 is going to give the GM, storyteller, games master, whatever you want to call it, another threat point for free. That roll is a fail. That's a rail. We can call it that. Can we call that? No, forget that. So it is like a partial success. So you might say, well, you've got 1 success on that one, you can possibly try this action again, unless it's stopped the shuttlecraft from crashing. Every game of Star Trek I've run, there's been a crashed shuttlecraft. As I said, the different systems do it differently. So Star Trek, it doesn't call them stat and skill, it's discipline and attributes. And disciplines are tied, so you've got command, diplomacy, science, medicine, engineering, and security to go with the 6 different branches of Starfleet. Stat and skill in Infinity, Mutant Chronicles, and in what's the other one? Conan, and in John Carter, they're all stats, so there's no separate skills. You've still got your focus, which can add benefits to it. I've got the free PDF, I haven't read it yet, but it's a bit more cinematic, so you're not looking at the kind of nitty gritty, so you've just got daring and presence and whatever, and you can combine whichever 2 seem to be the most appropriate for you. But and I think that's the dice and bolts of it. Start off with 2d20s, buy extra with momentum and threats, get them below a certain level, which is determined by your stats and skill pulled together. Normally need just one success, multiple successes for more complicated targets. That's the dice and bolts of it. Roll well, and I'll see you around.